I think I'm going to take the PVA off the middle rod. We're gonna go no PVA on the middle rod. Yeah, I can show you PVA, although the only reason why I'm using this PVA is because I already had it made up. I've got a bunch of different mussel PVAs, so I'm just going to rotate through them. If I was making a PVA right now, I would do very basic. In other words, just the mussel pellets. There's 3 different mussel pellets, plus there's mussel, regular zebra mussel or whatever. I would go very standard, especially for bear. We could actually be hurting our bite rate with such a fancy PVA recipe here. But at some point, I just don't like making new PVA, unless I think it's going to be like a really like great spot or something. If I have old PVA that I could use up that's similar enough, that's what I'm doing. All right, let me talk about principles when reeling in carp. How much tension and when to right click or shift reel. Yeah, those are great questions, and I should remember to keep those questions in mind next time I do a Carp 101 video. I would say, like any fish, you want to keep the tension high. You never want it to go slack. You don't need to have it in the red necessarily, but you want to keep the tension high. And I don't know that it's best practice, but I pretty much always shift reel. If I'm getting the fish reeled in, I shift reel. The only time I might do something a little different is if you know it's a trophy. You want to keep the tension high, but you don't want to be too aggressive, or if it's a really big one. I think the longer you're in the fight, the better chance you have of not getting the fish got away thing. So if it's a really good fish, then I think it sometimes makes sense to be a little bit more cautious, careful. Keep the tension high, but don't shift reel, don't right click. You can control right click to set the hook a little bit if you want to, although on bottom fishing, I'm not sure that it's necessary. It's just something I do out of habit. What's up, Red Rebel? Fishing's been good. We had a lot of fun at Yama, just trying out different things. I actually really enjoyed it. I probably will rotate back to Yama in the future days. We'll see, but I'm using just large 1 hooks right now. Awesome. Did you find one of my leveling videos, Monkey's Melody? If you go through one of my leveling guides, especially the first 2 or 3 episodes, it's one of the first things I do is get a feeder video set up. Okay, good. Get a feeder rig set up. Yes, for specific spots at Yama, I think I-4, and then the spot that I've been at today, or at least 2 spots that I know of. I-4 was pretty good for cohos, and some people are catching king salmons. Good. I'm glad that helped, Monkey's Melody. So this setup's going to be really slow, although on average you would think it would catch the better fish. but it may be too slow. Yeah, Blunty. So I think you're talking about the bear shuffle, where you use your body to pull it and then shift reel the tension out as you look back towards it. I also will sometimes. I didn't know that Pooney was playing this game right now. I thought Pooney was not playing RF4. Maybe Pooney's back? Or have I just been like completely in the dark? Anyway, so yeah, you're creating a little bit of space in the line so you can bring it in a little closer. But it can cause fish to unhook. It can be a little risky, but at some point, if it's a really heavy fish, you just do what you can to try to start working on getting it pulled in a little bit. Does that mean that is Pooney streaming again as well? I haven't seen Pooney in forever, although, again, time of day where I'm not usually available, so maybe things happen and I never really notice it. Pooney's not streaming right now. At least that I can see. Simi back? Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I didn't know he was even playing RF4. That's pretty cool. Carp usually bite in evenings and mornings. Yes. Although some spots you'll catch carp all day. It's just the bigger sizes are usually are usually at the prime times. Yeah, it does seem like obviously there's a few species that are sort of like an exception to that rule, but most fish in the game, a lot of your best fishing will happen in those like few hours, morning and late afternoon, evening. Unless you're talking about something like burbot or catfish or something, but it does seem like a lot of fish species are that way. Yeah. There's a grocery store at Bear. No tackle, though. Alright, first fish on the bigger setup. Yeah, it's a little bigger carp. Is that right, Alex? 5 point whatever mirror. Oh, Eric just had a trophy bream. That's awesome. 5.1. Uh, are the blue bream on Volkhov a thing? Yes, but it's been a little while since we've identified a super hot blue bream spot. But it happens every once in a while. 171 or whatever, you can usually go and at least catch a couple of them. But sometimes, of course, those spots get really hot. There's a difference in real life. People are in a boat most of the time and they fish grass and weeds. Is that true around the world? Like, I know that's what people do in America if they're bass fishing, right? Is that true for carp fishing in Europe? Are people just casting in the weeds all the time, or do they cast in different spots of the lake? I don't know. It's a good thought, though. I mean, some fish definitely do like the deeper areas in real life as well, but not predators as much, maybe. And that's mostly what people fish for. Again, especially in the U.S. at least. I don't know. Oh, there was a spot in Discord recently for blue bream? Well, there you go. I missed it. Oh, one of the most famous carp spots in the world is right on the Kentucky-Tennessee line. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a big deal. I mean, there's definitely some carp spots in the U.S., but it's not super popular. Except for a small group of people. In Europe, we always sit in weeds and don't cast deep. Okay, well, there you go. Same with bass in South Africa. We carp fish the opposite bank, rivers, or deep holes and dams for carp. Okay. No bream fishing here in Canada. Mostly trout, pike, and walleyes. And carp. Okay. Depends on things like weather and time, if they're going to be stuck on the weeds or in wood or on the rocks. Bottom fishing is huge in the U.S., just not for carp. Our bottom fish is catfish. Yeah, that's true. A lot of catfish bottom fishing. I know people carp fish, but I didn't know we used bottom rods. I've never fished, so I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely carp fishing with bottom rods in America, but those people, I mean, I don't think it's a huge group. And it's probably just in certain locations. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. I know who you're talking about, Red Rebel. I know exactly who you're talking about. You use bottom fishing here in Canada for halibut during the winter. Oh, that's cool. I've done bottom fishing for catfish in the U.S. Works really well. And that was just in a little lake. Small, not even lake, like a big pond. I wonder how that guy's doing. He did some streams from while he was carp fishing, didn't he? His name escapes me right now. Or his, in-game name. No. Mr. Crossy is UK, right? I love Mr. Crossy, but we're talking about a guy over in North Carolina, and he was carp fishing. Might have gone down to Florida too, and would do little streams, carp fishing in real life. We use bottom and popping method for topwater in South Africa for catfish. Some also do the calling method. There's a few carp fishers in the U.S., but they're definitely in the minority. Absolutely. It's a shame because we've got some good carp. Yep, I agree. Not that I know from experience, but that's what I hear. Good afternoon to you. Lindsay. I love doing catfishing. Yeah, catfish is fun. I saw him a while back. He was on GTA Binge. He changed his name on Twitch. Yeah, Mr. Crossy is cool. He is indeed. Mr. Crossy is very cool. Yeah, that's a good point. Carp are either trash fish or invasive to certain populations. That's mostly what you hear about carp in the U.S. in like general, in like your normal fishing groups. Yeah. No, that's right. Predator fish is the mostly what we... You're not allowed to release the carp. Kill it. Don't put it back in there. In Europe, we hunt for carp. I certainly did not know about carp until I started playing fishing games. I think I knew about carp before RF4 only because I played that really old dovetail carp fishing game before RF4 was a thing, or at least before I knew about RF4. Back in the RF3 days. It's been a while since we've done this, but so some of you are newer. But if you haven't gone and Google searched RF3 and looked at some of the screenshots or videos, you owe it to yourself. Was it Spasma? I don't know. Oh, that's cool. 618 fishing. That's awesome, Blunty. That's a cool story. You don't think you ever looked it up? Oh, I've played it. I have played it. You can probably find either a YouTube video or stream or something of me playing it. You could still actually get it and play it. There it is. In all its glory.
Challenge accepted.
Hey, Wolfus with the Prime sub. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support. Welcome. No more ads for you, Wolfus. No more ads for you. Y'all, I mean, so obviously RF3 does not have much graphical impressiveness, but it still has incredible depth. I mean, I can't tell you how much depth is in this game, but this is like what it looked like when you're fishing. But the depth of this game and the amount of locations and fish species, it was absolutely insane. So if you don't care about graphics and you just want to get into depth of fishing and progression and all that, it's actually fun. The biggest problem is you pretty much, I mean, you don't have to know Russian because you can, like there were plenty of people that played RF3 that didn't know Russian. but you have to get to know what all of the iconography means, because it's not translated, at least that I've ever seen. And again, I did play it for a little while. I mean, you can get there, you can figure it out. People have made some videos on like translating stuff for you. But what's up, grass carp? I want you to cut that out, okay? So like what I'm doing right now, Blunty, is very aggressive. And so if I lose this fish, I deserve it. From the start, I've been aggressively shift reeling, right clicking. Whoa. Oh, it's that time of day, the slightly bigger fish. Hey, this wasn't a grass carp. It's just a really nice common. That's cool. Ooh. Also a common. I mean, it's not running, so I don't think it's a grass carp. You heard they're working on RF5. I don't think so. Who did you hear that from, Shoot Cute? Do you really believe that? Does it feel like we're at a place where they would start production on RF5 now? I made a joke the other day that in 10 years, like the only fishing game that will replace RF4 will be RF5 in 10 years. But that was just a joke. I don't even know if that's likely. Do y'all eat carp in England? I think someone made the point that most of the time carp fishing involves releasing the fish, right? Yeah, and that's really cool. Carp fishing is not just like a one-day thing. You spend days preparing spots, feeding it, getting them used to certain baits. That is a pretty cool aspect. 18.75. We had two really nice common carp in a row there. One on just the corn and one on the corn boilie combo. I fished here Saturday, got 120 silver in 1 hour using only one rod. That's amazing. I'm still hoping that I'm going to find a barbel. I mean, I know most of the fishing was overnight so far, so it's still possible, but you want an ice fishing update, huh? And bay saltwater fishing. RF4 is still underdeveloped, so there's no point in making RF5. I mean, I think RF4 looks really good. The graphics look good. What would be, yeah, I don't know. I don't see it, but fun fact about RF3, it's still actively worked on. There's a player who spent 91,000 hours on it. Wow. That's amazing, GoDust. You've only had 3 barbels. Yeah, so it's not going to be very, very common, but hopefully we'll at least see one. A lot of people want ice fishing in games like Fishing Planet, but I don't think they're going to add it. I'm going to be really confused if we end up getting ice fishing before we get fly fishing. Really confused. Yeah, there is nice frequency here, Razor. Although you would kind of expect it with using the... We've got large one hooks and just double corn on there, so... Yeah, for sure. The issue there is just how do you make it Welcome back, Internet. How do you make it feel anything like, you know, what it feels like in real life? So, and still be fun and have depth and all that. So, I have a feeling that I don't know. To me, it seems like fly fishing's been in development, sort of on the back burner maybe, but in development for a long time and just trying to get it to a place where it seems right. Kevin loves gaming. We are using second and third rod. We're using corn flavored, mussel flavored corn. First rod, we're doing the mussel pop-up boilies and corn much slower. This is the much slower rod. Now, we might catch a little bit bigger fish on average, but it's not worth it. You probably just want to go for the bite rate here. Oh, yeah. I agree. If you're going to go fly fishing, you already have the idea of crafting lures. You got to really embrace that side of it. That would be ideal. I agree. I agree with that. I think the fly fishing and fishing online is pretty dang fun. Fisher online. Now, I think lure crafting has potential of becoming a much more relevant skill if fly fishing comes out. I mean, you think about how quickly flies can wear out, how many varieties there are, the skill it takes to like get good at that. I mean, it's there's got to be some opportunities in there, right? Well, it just seems like we don't get updates to lure crafting. So it's kind of like once you have the lures, unless you just like start getting piked a bunch or whatever, there's not that aspect of it that keeps you coming back. Which in some ways is kind of nice because then you can free up those skill points, but I think with what we already have in lure crafting, and then if you add on top of that, like the potential that fly fishing could bring to lure crafting, all of a sudden you've got a much more fleshed out reasons to keep coming back, all of that. Yeah, I agree, Shoot Cute. I agree with that. Hey, well, guess what we caught? We finally got a barbel. So that was at like 10 a.m. in the morning. I guess if I say 10 a.m., I don't really need to add on the qualifier in the morning. Let's see. At the very least, dry and wet flies. Dozens of different things you can combine. Archie made it so at least the balsa wobbler needed to be replaced pretty often because of the density of pike. Last night, a monster fish killed my dragon spinning reel on Corey. Really? Did you ever get it in? Like, do you know what it was? Qualifications? They're just, yeah, it's just kind of like challenges. Things to go for. You get some kind of trophy or whatever at the end that you can put in your house. Welcome back if you haven't played in that long. Oh, 2 in a row. 2 in a row. And to be fair, it's worth noting that we're catching this on the mussel corn with no PVA. For what that's worth. 2 in a row, though. So that one was like at 11 a.m. You could never slow it down. After about 15 minutes of fighting, my reel gave out. Oh, that's so frustrating. Were you in a boat chasing it as well? Or were you on shore? $15 spot at night. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't noticed any glitchiness or anything recently, except for my internet. All right, it's 1:30. I gotta watch the time because I gotta get ready to go to the Braves game. I mean, I still got probably go another 30 minutes. If this is a barbel, we're in business. This is a common. Were you the one that was trying to catch Timon at the at Winding for qualification? Does it specifically have to be at Winding? I can't even remember what qualification that was. It's got to be some kind of spinning thing, right? Oh, at Belaya, I mean. Yeah. Catch a Timon weighing at least 5 kilos at Belaya using the lure rig. Oh, you have to use the lure rig. Task completed 6/4/2021. 14.5 kilo Timon at Belaya using the Rodent Squirrel 30. Whoa! What is that? Is that going to be a friendly grass carp? So one thing about this little 17 clip is if you can stop it from running, it doesn't take too long to get it into shore. It's got to be a grassy though, right? Yeah. $17.8. At least we got it in without it being too painful. I can't imagine trying to... Oh, it's a black carp. Now that's awesome. I didn't know the black carp were biting here. That's amazing. Again, no PVA on this one. Mussel corn. You just got 3 HSVs. What spinning rods would you recommend? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of good options. Hopefully somebody in chat will tell you an even better one. I just really like, especially for trolling, I really like these. Nope, that's not the right one. I really like these Mectas. I think they're good all around, but it only goes up to 20 load capacity. So with the caliber, you may want a little bit higher than that. These Mectas to me are just like, they're a little expensive for what they are, to be fair, but they're really fun to use for like trolling Cory. Because you usually come in under that 20, you know, at Cory. So these might not be the best recommendations for calibers, though. Maybe just like Super Duties or Model 1s or something? I don't know. I'd have to look at it. Oh, is that right? Burbot at Belaya has gotten good? That's cool. Shoot Cute says Super Duty all day. Super Duties and Model 1s are just really good all around rods. So if that fits into the range of line you're wanting to use, the weight of line and all that, it's probably good. We're at 55.31 down here in the southern part of Bear. There you go. Null Signal says Super Duty for trolling, Model 1 for casting. That was a weekly record black carp, so that must mean they're not coming out that often. Weekly record grass carp. Oh, never mind. It just means that we're early in the week. Don't pay attention to me. All right, so now these are the casting versions, but this is what I used to use at Volkov all the time: the Super Duty and the Model 1. You can still I still have steelhead set up on these, just because I love trolling with these at Volkov. Or at Cory for that matter, but it can be a little bit overkill for Cory. But those are great, great rods with fun reel options. Yeah, Model 1s are a little bit bendier, you're right. That's true. Those rods will grow with you. Good call, Null Signal. I use Super Duty all the way till Black Edition. Nice. Yeah, the stiffness of the rod, also the length of it. I mean, you don't really want to get, I guess, a rod that you use for trolling that you can't use casting as comfortably because it won't cast as far, but ideally, I think a shorter rod just works better trolling. But maybe that's more of a luxury to be able to consider those factors and not something you'd think about while leveling as much. This feeder thing is huge. Absolutely. It's a game changer. Can you send me carp hooks? Gummy. We've talked about this, haven't we? Level 17. 9 trophies. Good job. Ooh, look at that. Look at that potato black carp from Berg. Three broken rods? Really, I didn't notice that. Oh, 4 reels. So let's hope they were getting the free ones and then doing really risky stuff with it. Let's just hope that. Almost 1 kilo bream. Nice. I don't know if y'all noticed, but the time of day that black carp came in was a little odd. It's like early afternoon. A little strange. The thing that makes me sad is that my record catch on bottom fishing tackle is actually something I caught on a spinning setup. Yes, feeder rod is bottom fishing, exactly. You've broken a few telesticks at Corey. I mean, as long as it's inexpensive stuff or whatever, I mean, it's fine. Like, sometimes it's fun to go for it, but usually I would say if you have stuff set up correctly, it really shouldn't break. I mean, it should be the line that breaks, you know? Sorry about that, shoot cute. That does sound like that's my fault. That does sound like my fault. Oh, I forgot this video is still playing in the background. RF3 quietly going in the background here. I honestly, like, I would play this more if it was translated to English. And there's so much to this game. I still think it would be worth it for somebody to, you know, for them to hire somebody just to do the translation work. I don't know. You were tired of line breaking and you were sleep deprived? I hear you. We don't always make the best decisions. Pretty long fight. Basically broke off one of my real cheap reels. That was the lake trout? Or what? What size hooks? I'm using large one. I mean, pretty standard carp approach here. Oh, brown trout. Got you. Yeah, instead of having the boilies in, we probably ought to have one rod set up on potatoes or something. Or just all three on the double corn. Papadak says, I broke a spark after getting it snagged when I first started. I mean, I did that on my... I think it was... What was it? I broke something, or I did something on a snag on a couple of leveling guides ago. Oh. Yeah, that is hard not knowing. It's hard not knowing. I'm about to buy my second feeder. Do I need to buy the whole setup? Yes. I mean, you don't have to buy it at one time. You can buy it as you can afford it. But yeah, you'll need all of the parts to it again. Yeah, that's true, Blunty. When you first start and you get some of that early stuff, it's hard, and especially when some stuff's out of stock at Mosquito and Winding. Sometimes you can't actually set it up appropriately. You just got to go for it and hope for the best till you get into some real stuff. Some real gear. Good morning, Wrangler. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you just don't worry about leaders early on. Or just put leaders that are too big on. I mean, you know, it's whatever. They're not as necessary a mosquito, I guess. That's why sometimes I think saving up and purchasing that leader tool, as painful as it is to do that, it's probably worth doing way earlier than you would want to. But man, 600 silver or whatever it is, that is a lot of silver at that point in the game. I think we'll just go with this one. This is a much more basic mussel PVA. Still remember the first carp fight at Mosquito was so not ready. Are carp hooks necessary? You have to use carp hooks on carp setups, right? If you're using like classic hair or classic pop-up or whatever. Yeah, I think that's right, Blunty. I think that's right. I think that makes sense. Go ahead and get your... Yeah, I don't know. It's just so nice to have for bottom fishing and spin fishing. When you can, like, not worry about stock as much and just be able to make your own leaders. Oh, so good. $400 silver on 2 setups. We'll see if I still get the same 100 silver a day on a rod. We'll see if I get the same. I guess it won't be exactly accurate because I used a much slower bait setup on the first rod, but I mean, we can go get a quick check before it gets too active again. So we've been here 47 minutes. Nice, Wrangler, nice. So we're at 329.50 in 47 minutes. That's pretty good. Especially, you know, again, a lot of it's small fish, so it adds up. All right, Alex. Tight lines. Catch you next time. Ooh, somebody had a 12.1 common barbel. Question is, was it here or was it at amber? It's a little more common that size at amber usually, I think, but... You remember your first carp at Mosquito? You shouldn't have caught it. I mean, the thing is, when you're early on, like, you have no idea. I mean, everything, until you accidentally hook into a carp or something, everything is just immediate. You immediately reel it in, right? I mean, fish fights are not a thing early in the game for the most part. And so... unless it's an alt account or something, like, you're just not prepared. Have no idea what to do. It's crazy. Well, I mean, we can hope that this is not a grass carp, but it feels more like a common right now. It's just not running at all. So maybe it is a common. It's a common, or it's a really tired, uninspired grass carp. No, it's a common. It's hefty. It's another 18 kilo or something. We've had a couple of these. Sprinting around that place for 20 minutes on the Spark. That is one nice thing, is that you can avoid getting spooled for the most part. 18.5 kilos. Well, that helps with the silver. What's up, S? Greetings. Welcome to the stream. If I start playing this game again for real, I'm probably just going to use my alt account. Try and have true fun again. Yeah, that sounds fun. I'm going to create a free-to-play account, I think, pretty soon for a new leveling guide. And I've thought this before, but I've been thinking this way again, that I might continue to play the account. I might not just have it be a leveling account, but I might let it turn into my true alt account, but we'll see. Yes, S. What's your question? What do you need help with? Or do you have a suggestion? Do we have a belt buckle on? I forgot we have a belt buckle on. You're saving for Yama? So what are you asking what you should try to purchase for Yama? To fish with? I'm really not the best at Yama suggestions. Advent series rod. People were talking about that earlier. I don't have one of those. I don't really know anything about them. I like the Evora. So if you're going spinning... If you're going spinning setup, I mean, I like the Evora. But there might be reasons why the Advent is better. I don't know. I mean, this has got a 7 out of 10 stiffness, plenty of load capacity. It's expensive, though, because you're getting the bonus. So if you don't want to go as expensive, I mean, I would say the Model 1. The Model 1, for its price, is a ton of value, and it'll grow with you no matter... Like, if you start off with a Caliber HSV on it, but then eventually get a Tagara or whatever, like, it can handle both. But the Advents might be really good. I have no idea. And it also depends on are you going spinning or bait casting. Common cafe fish on East map. I like that, Vox. You know, it does change, though. It's not like that is always the same. I guess at Mosquito, and especially at Winding, there are some reoccurring spots that do sort of rotate in pretty frequently, so we could try to talk about that some. That would be cool. Maybe in the leveling guide, the first time I fish at a new map, we can just go around and talk about different spots for the first episode at that new map. That could be cool. I'd have to go back and figure out, like, do I actually have accurate notes? I'd have to figure out where to get that information. Because if I just base it on my memory, I'm going to get stuff wrong, like clips and stuff. But or should I go for Ultimas? I think Ultimas are great, obviously. Although, I don't think that's necessary for Yama. Here's another little barbel, by the way. The only thing that's huge at Yama are the king salmon. And people can get in king salmon on smaller stuff. It's just going to be a big fight. And that's the only fish, you know? So, I think Ultima is way overkill for Yama. Although, obviously, I mean, if you get an Ultima, it's great. You get a lot of good bonuses on it. What bait am I using? I'm using the all mussel stuff. Mussel corn, mostly. That's a good setup, Shoot Cute. Yeah, I like that setup. I like the steelness. But that is bait casting, right? I'll have to look at that. Sorry, I think you told me to look at it earlier and I didn't. I'll try to remember looking that maybe tomorrow's stream. I'll look that up. I want to see more about it. Yeah, I have both the ultralight and the regular Ultima, and I use them both. I've used them both at Yama, but I don't think that's necessary. That is so much silver. If you're saving up for Yama, like, I don't know that needs to be the goal. Unless you just want the best rod in the game kind of thing, you know? Whoa, whoa, whoa. The Avia, no. The Avia is for spin fishing or casting, you know, lures. It's not something you would use for wild carp. Wild carp, you're pretty much going to be using carp rods. Oh, nice, Wrangler. The best thing to catch wild carp on at an affordable rate are going to be your Fortuna carp rods. Something like this. Although wild carp are really big fighters, so you probably do want to use Tagaras or Vengas or whatever you have in terms of big reels, but yeah, that's something I've toyed with. I think at this point I'm just going to sit on my silver because I just want to see like what's going to come out next. But that's like one thing I would love to do is get the top of the line ultralight reel. Because when I use ultralight right now, I mean, it's fine. But even on my Ultima, like, I'm just using an 8.5 pillar, you know? And I've got a couple of different 8.5 ones. I've got 2 different pillars. But you can get a little stronger. And the load capacity is up to 14 on the... So, you know, I could get a little more power. Although, I don't know. It doesn't feel like you necessarily need that. Unless you're doing crazy things with ultralight. Yes, I agree. In terms of big boy setup, it's hard to beat. It is hard to beat the Ultima rocket jet. Where is my rocket jet? What is that on right now? Oh, there it is. The rocket jet. It's just so much power. Yeah, I would say don't do what I did with this first rod. Just do all corn, or even just like throw potatoes or something on your third one. But I would probably just do all corn. The mussel boilies, like I caught some good fish on this line, but it's just too slow. Yeah, that's true, Kefius, and it's more affordable. I mean, that's definitely the more affordable line than the big stuff. All right, so we did 427 in right at an hour. We actually fished here just an hour. 427. So that's really good. I mean, that's a good bear result. That's on the high end, really. So very happy with that. And that's with no trophies, of course. So especially good. Especially good. All right. I got to head out. We're heading to the Braves game here in the next probably 45 minutes. So I need to go get ready. But thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. So fun hanging out with you guys a little more often this week. I will try to be on again tomorrow. It's possible. I don't know. I think it will be late afternoon tomorrow, so a little later in the day. I think that's the plan. But anyway, thank you so much for being here. Tight lines. I will see you next time.